Well, hey guys, FandomWire here. This is our second episode of our Inside Fandom podcast. I'm joined by Josh and Matt, and we're going to be breaking down all kinds of topics. Mads Mikkelsen is joining Fantastic Beasts 3. We've got Deadpool moving forward at Disney. A lot of great stuff to talk about. So let's get started. All right. So, Josh, you want to go ahead and tell us what our first topic is today?
Yeah, I think at the top of our board, we were going to be discussing Mads Mikkelsen officially being announced to replace Johnny Depp in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts 3 film.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Matt, why don't we start with you? What do you think about it?
I mean, Mads Mikkelsen is great. He's got the great villain look. But for me, at least, the problem with those movies was never Johnny Depp. Obviously, there's issues unrelated to the movie, which is why he got replaced. I don't know if we want to get into that at all today, but talking strictly from a movie standpoint, Mads is great. I mean, Johnny Depp was perfectly fine too. But for me, it was just the story was going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Grindelwald Dumbledore story. That's what I'm into. That's what I'm interested in. I just don't really care about Newt Scamander, really, as more than a side character. And they're just forcing him into being a major force in the story. So that's really my concern. Like I said, I love Mikkelsen. I think he's going to be a great addition. I think he'll kill the role. But one great actor does not make a good movie. So it's good news, but I'm not holding out too much hope that this is going to be the big change that's going to kind of turn the series around after Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah. You want to give your thoughts? So I'll give my thoughts. Josh.
Yeah, sorry. It's I'm pretty much right on there with Matt. I think Mads Mikkelsen is obviously a great choice because I think he's just a superb actor and he's great in everything he does, and he does bring a certain intensity to his roles, but I'm just not interested in those movies either. Now, I love the Harry Potter movies. Like, I have the box set. I rewatch them with my daughter frequently. But I did, like he said, I just don't care about the Fantastic Beasts films. They've never grabbed me and pulled me in the way that the Harry Potter films do. So, and I know there's fans are very vocal about the Johnny Depp stuff. So, as they tend to be about lots of things, they're, up in arms about him leaving the series. But like Matt said, I don't think it's going to make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I agree with your guys' thoughts. I mean, the Fantastic Beasts series is a mixed bag for me. I like the first one. The second one was all over the place. I don't think the casting of Grindelwald will make or break Fantastic Beasts 3. I don't even know why they're really doing a Fantastic Beasts 3 because the box office is trending downward, which the studios don't like. They don't want to see that. The last one was not well received. It's not Harry Potter. That's the reason people want to see Harry Potter is because of Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron. That's why they want to see her, not this. And I actually like the world of Harry Potter. Like, I think there's a lot of great stuff to explore there, but I think the best thing that Warner Brothers can do is go back to the actual Harry Potter story. I'm surprised that hasn't happened, to be honest. Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't been like, here, Daniel Radcliffe, we'll give you a dump truck full of money to come back and do it. It's like, if they came out with like another one, like and definitely don't adapt the First Child. That is a travesty. But if they did it, man, it would be so, like, the box office would be at least $1 billion. At least.
And that's what they're going for. They're grabbing at straws, just trying to keep that Harry Potter, fandom coming, but it's not working.
And I think going far in the past is fine. I mean, I agree. Like the Dumbledore stuff is what people want to see. I even like Newt. I don't mind him. He's okay. Like you said, I like the first one, but the reason I think the first one worked around Newt was because it really was more of his story. The second one is more of a Dumbledore story, and Newt was just there, and it just felt
hmm
odd. It felt odd that he was there doing just. It was Dumbledore's story. It's what people wanted to see. Now,
Yeah.
as for Grindelwald, I like Mads Mikkelsen. I don't think Johnny Depp did a bad job. The circumstances of him getting, you know, having to be essentially fired. Yeah, he stepped down. Come on, he's fired. He's
Right.
fired. And, that's unfortunate with what happened, but at the same time, like, Mads Mikkelsen's a good actor. He could, I mean, he's very menacing. Very menacing. So that it could work. I also want to give props to Popcorn Planet Andy Signor. He's not going to get credit for it because, Deadline stole the scoop. But I want to. They did that to us too.
Yeah.
But he had the scoop first. He was first one to report that, and so he probably won't get the credit he deserves. So I want to give him props here. But anyway,
Right.
not really much else to say. Why don't
Yeah.
we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, next up, we were looking at Stranger Things casting news for season 4. They recently released some new additions to the cast. Most notably among them is Robert Englund, who, of course, horror fans know as Freddy Krueger, joining for season 4.
Yeah, I actually just this past Halloween I watched the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series, most of which for the first time.
A lot of them are bad,
they're-
but it's
yeah,
a fun watch.
but yeah, they're fun. And as Krueger, he's got a nice feel for the camp. He's not just a
Yeah.
straight horror villain. He's dishing out one-liners and zingers. He's got these kind of gets trying to put through like a catchphrase here and there. So he's got a little humor with his psychotic side as well. So if they lean into that, I think he could be a really good character.
Right, and I think they're going to, because what it says is that he's supposed to be someone locked in an insane asylum for a murder. So I'm sure he's going to play right into that crazy and that wild.
Yeah, they're going right into his wheelhouse. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hope they go crazy with it. I don't follow the series, so I don't have a ton to say about it, but I know I should watch it.
I
But,
personally love it, and it does
Yeah.
have a big fan base. It's one of Netflix's
yeah,
most popular, and I think that each season has upped it and gotten better and better. Especially, I really dug
Wow.
season 3. They leaned into the more fun, campy, and they went 80s vibe and just made it a real fun watch. I really enjoyed it, so I'm psyched for season 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pumped. I didn't like season 2 that much. Like it was fine, but season 1 I still think is the best. Season 3 was kind of a return to form, so they can
Right.
keep that same kind of vibe going. I think season 4 could be a lot of fun as well. Should be at least. They've got all good things going for them.
yeah, I'll definitely check it out. All right,
Yeah.
what's our next topic?
Well, this is a big one. Something fans have been waiting for and hoping for. Deadpool 3 is moving forward at Disney. So we are going to get a third Deadpool film with Ryan Reynolds.
Sounds great. I'm so thrilled for this. I love the first two Deadpools. I was worried a little bit that it wasn't going to happen. I mean, let's be
Right.
honest. We were all a little worried. I mean, I think it would have happened at some point, but it just seemed like they were a little too hesitant to do it. For
Right.
good
I mean,
reason.
which I get. It is totally outside of, Disney's typical foray of films. Now they're claiming it's still going to be R-rated. I won't believe it
don't-
until I see it.
That's
Yeah,
the key to the whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's with the way they've set it up and the way Deadpool just as a character is, it has to be R-rated. If they go
Right.
anything less than that, is just going to be, a shell of its former self. And
Right.
Reynolds was born. It's a cliche, but he was born to play that role. He's perfect for it.
Yes.
And the raunchy humor. I mean, he's nailing it. Both in both movies, he absolutely nailed it to the T each time. And if they can keep it with the R rating, keep that same kind of humor and violence, and even like the humorous violence as well, then it should be another home run. But we'll see if the initial reports of it being R, do hold true.
Right. So what they said is his solo film will be R, and then when he joins in other, superheroes movies, it'll be toned down, obviously PG-13 to fit those. So I'm sure he could have lots of fun making jokes at, being censored in those movies and keep up his kind of meta fourth wall breaks. But one thing that I did point out is the writers they got for it, and I'm going to butcher the last name, Molyneux sisters, but they are writers for Bob's Burgers. They were big on Bob's Burgers, and that show is hilarious. So that, to me, I see that as a good sign.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I've seen pretty much only good things about it. So being able to keep the humor aspect going and getting people who have a proven track record. They've also written a female spinoff of the Jump Street movies, which I didn't know until I was doing some research on them last night. So they've got the pedigree, they've got the trust of people in the business. So from that standpoint, there's no director yet, so that'll be key once they get that settled. But at least from the writing standpoint, all the initial signs are good. So I'm feeling good right now.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think you're right. The R rating is going to be a big factor whether people will be going for this. Whether they, I don't know if it'll be, who knows what will happen to the theaters by then. That's a whole other conversation. But I think no matter what happens, the R rating is key to fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to. Now, there are ways that they could do PG-13. There absolutely are. And there's other ways of doing both. Like we saw with where they did, what was it called? Once Upon a
Christmas,
Time.
Deadpool Christmas.
Deadpool, yeah. It was the same movie, just PG-13.
Did either of you see that? I never caught it.
I never saw it.
No,
I never saw it.
I didn't get a perspective on it, but I don't think I know anybody that saw it actually.
Yeah, I mean, I own it, like I have it, but I haven't watched it. I already watched the other movie.
Yeah.
That was,
if you're going to choose between the two movies, you're going to go with the original R-rated one and get all the goodness with it.
And plus, like, I know there's extra scenes with Wade and who was that in the movie? Where he's like talking to him in the bedroom. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it was like they were like
okay. I'm not catching it.
There were basically clips they added into the movie, so there were extra scenes.
Oh, okay.
But it was basically like he was reading a bedtime. It was like what was the
Princess Bride?
Princess Bride.
Yes.
Did it have? Was it Fred Savage? Was he the? Did they have him in it?
I think it was.
That sounds familiar now. Yeah.
So that was cool, but my point of that was even with that stuff though, you're still, at least I imagine, you're still missing scenes in the movie because they had to take some out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only so much you can censor. So that's but I mean, there could be some fun gags where they're bleeping it out. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Even if it does go PG-13, people will still go see it. It will probably still make a ton of money. But it's going to lose some of its magic. I think now if they had started PG-13, that would be one thing. But once you give us that full-on, bloody cussing glory that is Deadpool, it's kind of hard to go back.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You can't close Pandora's box, if you will, once you open it up.
The thing about Deadpool too is like people are like, oh, I'm assuming he's going to be in the MCU. But the thing about Deadpool is he could sort of be in the MCU and not in the MCU. He's Deadpool. He can sort of like do
Kind of go in and out, yeah,
like
way easier than any other characters could.
right.
Oh yeah.
So with that, I feel like they could get away with a lot. I definitely hope there's some jokes about the MCU and Disney buying everything. There has to be. There has
Oh
to
yeah.
be.
Yeah, I don't think Reynolds will want to hold back. If he has any input into the script or the jokes, I'm sure he'll push for that kind of meta humor for sure. He just feels natural that he would just go all out for it.
Yeah, so I'm hoping there will be like cameos or things that ties it to the MCU though. That I do think could be possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the X-Men. Like he was sort of in the X-Men universe.
Exactly, yeah.
But and then that one scene I love where they're in the mansion and they're all hiding.
Oh yeah,
That was so good. Like do that with something like that with the Avengers. Like
and people want to see Deadpool and Spider-Man together.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Him and Tom Holland, I think would kill it together. I think they would work really well.
So good, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait. I'm a little shocked it was happening. At first, I was like, "Are we sure?" But otherwise, I guess it makes a lot of money, so they wouldn't wait that long, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll see what happens. What's our next topic?
Moving up, we have some less than good news. Black Lightning is ending after its 4th season.
Yeah, I heard about this actually a couple months ago. Actually, right around the time, it was a couple months ago, right around the time of Supergirl, the announcement that Supergirl was going to be canceled. So right around that time, I heard rumblings that this might happen. It was on the chopping block.
Yeah.
I didn't report it though because I couldn't confirm it. I tried to, but I just couldn't do it. But yeah, I heard this. Way. I hoped it wasn't true because this is one of the shows that I think is actually pretty good. I think the first season I think was better than the second one. Like definitely a step down, but still pretty good. Still a pretty good show. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm not shocked. I mean, obviously, I heard about it earlier, but even then, when I heard about it the first time, I was like, I'm not that surprised either because the ratings are not doing great in these shows.
Right. One good thing I think, at least, is that it wasn't like a surprise, cut it off mid-season or into the season. At least they have a little bit of a heads up. Maybe they can wrap their story up, end it the way they want to end it, and leave fans kind of satisfied.
Yeah.
You always like to see that happen, even if it is a cancel versus a conscious choice to end the show. It'll give them a chance to readjust if they have to and
wrap things up. Yeah,
come to a satisfying, hopefully, conclusion to the story, and not end on some planned cliffhanger going in the next season, then have the show just be done.
Yeah, I actually am really satisfied with how the CW is wrapping up these shows because Arrow, they were Arrow, and then they announced like, oh, we're ending it after season 8, and then they did it with Supergirl, and I mean some other ones might.
Were there 8 seasons of Arrow?
Yeah. I mean the 8th. Yeah, the 8th season was shorter, but that honestly it made it work better. I mean, again, we talked about this last week. Like the shows need to be like half what they like. The seasons need to be half what they are. But I am sad to see it go. I met a lot of the cast of Black Lightning, but it's at least they get 4 seasons. I mean, that's pretty good, though. I don't know what's gonna happen to the Arrowverse with CW. It seems like they're closing out a lot of the shows. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mentioned last episode I haven't watched any of them. I started trying to watch the Flash once. I couldn't really get into the CW shows, so I don't have a whole lot invested in them, But
They're a
obviously,
little
if it has a
hokey,
fan
but
base,
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
that I think though, there's so many characters in whether it's DC, Marvel, whatever comic franchise you're looking at. There's so
Yeah.
many underused or not as well known characters. I'd like to see someone like one of those characters get a shot at a show that maybe isn't going to get a big tentpole movie, but there's some obscure. I don't even really know them off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something that's kind of a goofy character who's maybe a little out there that would be a fun TV show that maybe give them a little bit of shine that they wouldn't get otherwise, versus just going through the big ones that everyone knows already. Which I mean, Marvel did with Guardians of the Galaxy. They were basically a bottom tier comic book, and now they're one of the more beloved franchises, within the larger franchise. So if they could find a way to, find some other smaller characters to give a show to, that is what I might be interested in.
Yeah.
now
Who I think people would love to see, and I know it's Marvel, but Squirrel Girl. I think that would be a super fun series.
I've seen the name pop up every once in a while, and
Yeah.
I'd probably give anything a shot at this point.
I mean, like Disney Plus. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, here's quick speculation on my part, but it's conflicted about whether, like, obviously the Flash is one thing, but there was a time when WB would not allow the character on TV and in the movies. So when they used Deathstroke, they had to stop Deathstroke on Arrow, even though that was the best program on Arrow. They had to stop it. Now, I heard that policy has been done away with. So
seems like a
good
one to get rid of.
But I agree. But if that policy is in place, it would make sense with Supergirl going off the air and Black Lightning. Now, Black Lightning, my speculation is, if that's in place, and that's the part of the reason Supergirl went off the air. I don't know what the reasons were. But if that was one of the reasons, then, because WB is developing a Supergirl movie. I don't know why they don't just do Man of Steel 2, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's been in the works for a while, so if that's in their plans, to come soon, in the next 2 years or something, then maybe that's why they were canceled. Again, speculation.
It's a good thought process.
And then that thought process makes me think, well, maybe they're going to use Black Lightning.
You might be on something.
I don't know. Maybe. Again, the Flash is a different deal. Even if that policy was in place, they might make an exception for the Flash, because he's a multiverse level,
they could explain that.
I don't know what that probably is not even close, but we'll see what happens.
It's always fun to speculate.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, why don't we move on to the next topic?
All right, so next up, there's a new Predator movie in the works. You could see that as good news or bad news, depending on how you've been feeling about the last couple. And Dan Trachtenberg is confirmed to be directing it. He was the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was awesome. So I'm excited about that much, at least.
Yeah, he also directed the series premiere of The Boys, which obviously is a super popular show, big following.
Right.
And for any Black Mirror fans, he directed Playtest. That's the video game episode with I think it's Wyatt Russell in the role. So he's got good track record. I don't know what else he's directed for sure, but
I checked. 10 Cloverfield Lane is his first
kind of big one.
movie. Yeah.
But I guess he tweeted out that he's had this in the works for, I think he said 5 years already. So he's been putting effort into it. So I like that. But my biggest thing, I like that it's not a sequel to the 2018 one, because that movie was garbage. That movie was terrible. I'm very glad that they're just retconning or whatever they're going to do with it, and just starting fresh, whatever it is, just get rid of that one and move on, because that was a bad movie.
And
But Predator's a great concept, so I'm looking forward to it.
a lot of series are doing that when they hit like a stumbling block. They just say, you know what, forget about that one, or forget about all these other sequels. You know, like the Halloween 2018 was just a sequel to the original. It said forget all the other garbage. So it's kind of a weird way to take it, but it's good.
Yeah, it's a weird one for me. I mean, I like the first Predator. I mean, it's okay. I very much enjoyed that. I don't really even remember any of the other ones. I didn't see the most recent one. No, I plan on watching it, but I just didn't get around to seeing it. I heard it's really not that good.
You're not really missing out.
Yeah, but
with Danny Glover, not great. That's when they're in the city. I actually dug Predators, the one that came out in 2010. I thought that one was pretty good. They took it in a new direction. Instead of being hunted here on Earth, humans were picked up and taken to a planet where they were just dropped, and then there were predators who hunted them for game.
That's the one with Adrian Brody, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that one was fun. It was a good twist on it.
And I had hopes for this 2018 one. They had Shane Black directing it, which I mean, he's a great director. You know, he did The Nice Guys, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he was in the original Predator and was one of the co-writers for it. So he already was linked to it. He was in the Predator series. It seemed like a perfect matchup, and then it fell apart.
Now,
I guess the thing is, are you guys ready for years of the Will Schwarzenegger be in the movie? Because that's going to be asked until it's confirmed one way or the other. It's going to be in the news every time this comes up. People won't be able to stop speculating, and I'd love to see him, maybe just in a brief cameo somewhere.
Why not?
That'll be talked about for sure.
I think there's a good chance that he will, especially if they ignore I mean, even if he didn't ignore all the other ones, you can still bring it back. Like, no,
I really think for him, it's going to come down to if he likes the script, if he likes the part or the cameo or whatever, however they work him in, he'll come back and do it. But if he looks at it and says, "No, I don't want to, go back to this for this," if it's not good, like 2018 script.
He came back for Genesis and Dark Fate, though. I mean, it's
maybe he learned his lesson.
So, or maybe his standards just aren't that high to come back.
And I didn't hate Dark Fate, but I don't know.
I didn't hate it either, but I had a lot of complaints.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he just wants a paycheck. I can't blame for that, but I don't know. I mean, this one, I hope it's good. And I hope if they don't bring it back, do something completely different. Like, I do want to see, like, something on another planet that we haven't seen before.
Right.
Like, don't use humans even. Maybe don't even use humans. Use another, like, species. I don't know. I mean,
that's true, because they've made it clear that the predators, are hunt for sport all over, the galaxy, not just on Earth. And, in Predator 2, when Danny Glover goes on the ship, they have T-Rex skulls mounted up there, suggesting they've been hunting since prehistoric times. There was the alien skull up there, all their trophies of different species.
So, I mean, you could do, there's other, we know the aliens exist. We know that some of the creatures in Prometheus, those that weird movie, so there's a lot of different creatures that could, maybe in this one, they'll make the predators the protagonists. I don't know.
A lot of ways they can go with it.
Anyway. So I haven't seen the movie that this director. I haven't seen the 10 Cloverfield Lane or whatever. I didn't see it, but hey,
it's so good.
Okay, so I mean, it's from what I know about it, it's a horror sci-fi. Why not? That sounds great. Sounds great. Just
perfect.
Hopefully, they don't screw it up like every other time. They try to screw it up. Same with Terminator. It's like a Schwarzenegger curse. All the sequels to the movies that he started that were iconic just get screwed up. So
they just need to give us a Kindergarten Cop sequel with him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd actually like to see that.
He comes back as the principal or something.
Oh my gosh,
I'd see that. I'd see that immediately.
Oh yeah, I would too.
Be all in on that.
Yep. All right. Well, why don't we move on to the next topic?
All right. So the last thing we got on the board to talk about is there has been talk of the Last of Us series or movie happening forever, and it has finally been greenlit at HBO. It's going to be a series, and I think HBO is perfect to give this story a series adaptation.
Yeah, HBO. I mean, name a show from HBO, and it's probably going to be a good one. I mean, whether it's a mini series or a full-fledged, big time show, more often than not, they just crush it. And it's got Craig Mazin, who was behind Chernobyl, the fantastic miniseries. I think last year already.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I mean that was great. It's got a really cool concept. I've never played the game, but the concept feels perfect for a one-off miniseries. I'm worried they're gonna, drag it out over 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, but it feels if they can do like maybe an 8-episode miniseries like they did with Watchmen.
Yes.
I mean, it could be phenomenal if done correctly. So a lot of time still for production to come together, but on the offset, I'm really looking forward to this one already.
I've played the first game through a couple of times. It is a great game, and one of the reasons it's so perfect for a story adaptation on screen is it's a really thematic movie, or it's a really thematic game. The storyline is very, much like a movie. There's lots of, cut scenes and video scenes. It plays out like you're playing a movie, essentially, and it's a really well-written game. It kind of raised the bar for elevating storytelling in games, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely down to see this. I think it could be. I mean, HBO. You're right. It's perfect. What I wonder is, will this be also on HBO Max? Because I've been hearing people are like, "Well, wait, is it?" I think it will. I think all HBO, all HBO proper productions, I think get put on HBO Max right away.
Anything that's HBO goes to HBO Max, but then there's also properties that are HBO Max exclusives, like that new Kaylee Kuko show, The Flight Attendant. That's an HBO Max only. But then the Nicole Kidman miniseries, The Undoing, is an HBO series, but it's on both platforms.
Gotcha. Okay. So that makes sense.
So I didn't see anything about this one being on Max exclusive. So I get the initial impression that it'll be on HBO proper and then obviously on Max as well.
Yeah. So
now, here's the real question. Will this break the video game curse and be a decent video game adaptation?
I was thinking the same thing. There's not a high bar to clear. I mean, so they got that going for them. I mean, I think, Sonic is maybe the best one, and that was okay. So, I mean, I think being a show, it might have a little more leeway, but yeah, the movie adaptation track record is not great, to say the least.
Now, I liked the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was fun. I think as a movie, it had its fair share of problems, but it's a fun adventure movie. It's the kind of movie I like, so I had no issue. It was a good fun couple hours for me.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it could. I think it being a show is going to help it tremendously. Because if it was a movie, it is harder for a video game property to be adapted in a movie versus a show. And this lends itself to a show versus a movie. Now,
video game, the worlds are usually so expansive that you lose a lot of that in a movie. Yeah. But in a show, even if it's a shorter miniseries, you can really let that breathe and let the world expand kind of naturally through the story, rather than having to cut and paste the best or most interesting parts to fit into, a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be good. I like the first game a lot more than the second one, but
I hadn't played the second one yet.
it's okay. There are
Yeah, what
definitely
I've heard.
parts. Yeah, there are definitely parts that are great, but there's also a lot of parts that I'm just angry. It's just like, why? Why did you make me do this? Uh,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I think, they'll probably not do. I mean, I don't know how faithful they're gonna be. Like, I know
right.
the creator, whatever the game is like a part of this. So I don't,
Right.
he may like try to make it faithful to like maybe he'll follow it like point by point. I hope not. I hope
Yeah.
not. I hope they do their own. Like, don't go too far away from the source. But
I mean, seeing what they did with Westworld and Watchmen and things like that, how they adapted those
yeah,
and took them in totally
those are
new
good.
ways, I think
Yeah,
we'll see some new stuff.
yeah. I hope so. I
Yeah,
hope
I mean,
so.
Watchmen is one of the best things, whether it's movie or TV, one of the best just properties in the last decade, maybe. I mean, it's incredible,
Yeah.
and then I mean, it's got Succession, like you said, Westworld. I mean, the track record is great, whether it's a full series or mini series. They've got some misses, obviously. Lovecraft Country was a little up and down, the recent one,
Yeah.
but
That's on
it's
my list. I haven't watched it yet, but
the
that's on my list.
the first episode is, for me at least, was basically perfect, and then it was very inconsistent the rest of the way. So I think if you watch the first episode and you like it, it's gonna be worth watching. But if you
Okay.
watch it and you're like, that's really not for me, I don't know that the rest of it will do much to change your mind on that. But it's
Not to
definitely
get
worth
too
giving it
off
a shot.
topic. Not to get too off topic, but now I'm curious. Is it actually linked to H.P. Lovecraft's like stories?
So I am not the person to ask about
Okay.
that.
All right.
I honestly have no idea. There is one reference, to him, because they show a book with his name on it. But I
Gotcha.
don't know. I think I get the impression just from hearing other people talk about it or write about it that there is some connection, but I wouldn't really know what to look for, so I can't really say much on that front.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, that will do it for us today. Have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Josh, where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Movie Guy 86.
All right, Matt, where can people find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Matt Hambidge. That's bridge with no R for the spelling.
All right. Well, you can follow me at Riley B Johnson on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those different sites. Yeah, it's been a good episode. I think a lot of great stuff came out. Thank you guys for watching. Again, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you play it. Last week we said, oh, we're going to do it next Thursday. We're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
next Thursday, we
Yep.
will be actually on time. So next Thursday at 8, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an update. If you're on Facebook, click the little, see first buttons. I think you hover over like or something. We're on YouTube. We're on all the different podcast networks. Apple. If you like audio only versions, we're on Apple, Spotify. What's this? Spreaker. Gonna be on some other ones soon, I'm sure. So yeah, check that out. All the links are in the description. So if you want to follow us, please do so. If you want to support us, we have those links there as well. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.